If you've obtained a judgment based on fraud, a fraud verdict from a jury, a default judgment in a fraud case, or a stipulated judgment acknowledging fraudulent conduct, you may have a significant advantage in bankruptcy. That judgment may be non-dischargeable under Section 523A(2) or 523A(4). Here's how fraud judgments are treated in bankruptcy and how to protect your claim. The issue of issue preclusion, collateral estoppel, is central. If the fraud judgment was obtained after a full and fair litigation of the fraud issues, a jury found fraud, or a court made explicit fraud findings, the bankruptcy court may be bound by those findings through collateral estoppel. This means you don't have to relitigate the fraud. The earlier judgment establishes the non-dischargeability. The requirements for collateral estoppel to apply. The issue in the prior proceeding must be identical to the issue in the dischargeability proceeding. Both must involve the specific elements of Section 523A fraud. The issue must have been actually litigated and necessarily decided in the prior proceeding. The party against whom estoppel is asserted, the debtor, must have had a full and fair opportunity to litigate the issue. Default judgments are trickier. A default judgment doesn't reflect actual litigation of the fraud issues. The defendant didn't contest. Courts split on whether a default fraud judgment has preclusive effect in a dischargeability proceeding. In many circuits, a default judgment does not automatically establish non-dischargeability. You need to file an adversary proceeding and prove the fraud elements independently. Consent judgments and stipulated judgments may have preclusive effect if the judgment language specifically reflects fraud findings. Judgment for fraud versus a general money judgment that doesn't specify the grounds. The adversary proceeding deadline. Whether or not you have a prior fraud judgment, you must file an adversary proceeding seeking a determination of non-dischargeability under Section 523 within 60 days of the first date set for the 341 meeting. Miss this deadline and the right is typically waived. People Locator Skip Tracing investigates fraud debtors in bankruptcy proceedings to support dischargeability litigation. Visit peoplelocatorskiptracing.com to place your order.